What's up and welcome back to Interpreting the Stars, where today I'm talking about a newer film called Words on Bathroom Walls. Every now and then I feel the need to slow down production of all these reviews on my channel because it's become my entire life. I figured all I'd have to do is simply focus on the films I wanted to see rather than to watch a ton of these I'd probably never watch if I weren't a critic. But if I did that, I would have no doubt missed out on Words on Bathroom Walls, one of the few hidden gems of 2020 that sprung out of nowhere for me, and I absolutely adored it. This film is nearly impeccable. Let's get cracking. This review was brought to you by the word of the day, impeccable. Free from fault or blame, aka flawless. Words on Bathroom Walls is a 2020 adaptation following around Adam as he learns about his affliction. As it turns out, he is a paranoid schizophrenic who has both auditory and visual hallucinations. He constantly hears voices and sees things that aren't there, which leads to psychotic breaks. He strives to try a number of drugs, both traditional and trial, to find peace and quiet from the voices and, most importantly, normalcy. But sometimes there is no happy medium, as Adam will soon realize. I wasn't sure what I was going to get out of this movie. Schizophrenia, I feel like, is a very temperamental topic to approach in film, which is why you don't normally see it. If you do see it, it's almost always stereotypical variation of it, where the person who has it is absolutely crazy, violent, and most importantly perceived as the bad guy. Don't get too close to him, brothers and sisters. He's crazy. He's schizo. Words on Bathroom Walls approaches this like any other mental disability, that sure, he has all these episodes that freak people out, but it also reiterates the fact that he's negatively affected by this affliction more than he's destructive to others. He feels alone because nobody understands what he's going through, and how can they? It's a chemical imbalance in the brain that isn't shared by many. This film goes the extra mile to show you Adam's world through his eyes and ears. You hear those voices, you see those hallucinations that surround him and constantly manipulate his actions. And the feelings I got while watching this were all over the place. I felt sad that he was going through this alone, that these hallucinations that he was having were manipulating his actions and causing harm to himself and to others. I related to him as a human being who was going through something difficult and consistently impossible to overcome. I was mystified by the visuals of these hallucinations, the sound mixing of these voices that surrounded him and then kind of closed in and converged into one dark, demented voice that he constantly hears, discouraging his hope. I was blown away by Charlie Plummer's acting in this role. I fully believed that they found an actor who either had schizophrenia himself or at least was intimately familiar with it at any rate. I downright believed it whenever he constantly felt cornered by his affliction. I felt that even though it wasn't needed, the side characters in this film were insanely well crafted and developed. His love interest, Maya, she started out one way, ended another. His stepfather, Paul, starts out one way, ends another. The priest that he constantly talks throughout the film, Father Patrick, who is played by Andy Garcia, starts out one way, ends relatively the same, but the relationship and bond he sort of shares with Adam naturally grows. Everybody honestly does a great job in this film, and they all have substantial impact to the direction. There's not just these, side characters that aren't doing anything because they need to fill the screen or runtime. Everyone mostly has a vital role to play. Past that, you also have the writing of the film, which, as you could probably guess, is fantastic. It's a deeply meaningful film that gives a voice to a selective group of individuals that otherwise wouldn't have one. I also think it's relatively original because of that. The pacing in general is understandably kind of incomplete based off of how I score films, since you can fully understand everything, but as an audience member, you don't always sense an upcoming ending. The film could technically go on forever showing you all these different things that Adam experiences, but what it does do by the end of this film is come to a satisfactory climax and resolution. So even though it doesn't always seem like it'll get there, it does. And I honestly really enjoyed how it came together at the end. Actually, I enjoyed this movie so much that I would recommend others place it on their watch list at bare minimum, but I'd also suggest put it on your Christmas wish list too. You won't regret it. This is a very, very good movie. You'll notice that I didn't really talk about anything negative in this film because I don't really have anything negative to point out. At no point in my grading scale did any subcategory get 0 points. Most got full, and a couple got half because it wasn't specifically standing out as good or bad. Let's go ahead and break down my final score for a second. From an unbiased technical level, I think how they approached the various hallucinations associated with schizophrenia was really smart and respectful. What I'm talking about here is certain visuals and sounds that mimic the things that Adam experiences. I'm also talking about the unnecessary but welcome character development for basically everybody else in the movie. The score here is 92%, and as for my personal bias score, I felt for this guy, I really did. Beyond the fancy visuals and sound mixing that absolutely blew me away, I liked this guy as a human being struggling with something impossible while feeling alone. I thought Charlie Plummer did a fantastic job pulling off this challenging role. This bias score is 96%, averaging out the two scores together, we come to the final rating of 94%, 94 out of 100 possible stars, or an A-letter grade. Honestly, this is actually one of my highest scored films all year. 2020 has been something else, filled to the brim with one anxiety attack after the next. Who would have guessed that a film centered on a paranoid schizophrenic would be the light at the end of a long, stressful tunnel? It really is a hidden gem. Guys, let me know your thoughts on Words on Bathroom Walls in the comment section down below. Have you seen it? Are you looking forward to it? Let me know. And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review. And until then, peace out.
Dave examines movies we just watch for fun. Davey is the expert. He is the #1 critic that I go to when I need a movie pick. Thanks for joining up with us.